Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show.
These are our 10 favourite amps.
Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here. Hello, and we really hope that worked.
Okay, our 10 favourite amps.
Yes.
At the TPS studio.
We did a video just recently called All of Our Guitars or something like that. Every guitar we own. People said, can you do it for amps? And we're like, ooh, we could, but it's a logistical nightmare. So we've distilled it, you see? Just giving you the key information. These are our 10 favourite amps in the TPS studio.
All the brains and all the beauty.
Yeah. It's kind of sort of in order. Dan and I chose 5 each. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rather than 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, there's some honourable mentions.
There are some honourable mentions coming up at the end.
If we do it tomorrow, the amps will probably be different.
Yeah. Stay tuned for those. They will shock you.
If only we were smart enough to do clickbait. Right, Dan, you're up first.
Okay, so first is the Audio Kitchen Big Chopper. I have been using this amp now for it must be a couple of years now, and I love it. So some things I love about it, it's single-ended Class A, so 4 EL84s, single-ended, amounting to 30 watts. It's the heaviest amplifier I've ever owned.
Physically,
it's
got
crazy.
a Thor's transformer in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, because it's proper single-ended.
Yeah. In fact, that's where Mjolnir ended up.
Right, there we go. And only he of great honour may lift it. So it's fabulous. It has 2 channels.
I can help.
Thank you. 2 channels. I use mainly the right-hand channel for everything. And then whatever channel you're not using becomes the preamp for your reverb. And that means that you can use the EQ and sculpt the reverb to get the exact reverb you want. It's glorious. So yes, here we go. Takes pedals beautifully. It's an astonishing amplifier.
Obviously, I messed around with the reverb. You heard that. What I also did was turn down the master volume or the power. Is it power scaling, or is it a master volume?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it might be power scaling.
Yeah. Turn the master output down, and turn the gain up so it went a bit gainier. Very cool, man. Very, very cool.
killer.
We often talk about fidelity. We often talk about headroom.
So funnily enough, he makes, I think, an EL34 version of the Big Chopper that Thorpe says it's the loudest amplifier he's ever heard. And Thorpe's got 100-watt Hiwatts. And he says, put his EL34 Big Chopper next to those, and he said it just wipes them out. It's so loud. But yeah, it's glorious. I love recording with it. Records beautifully. Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Next. Okay, my first entry, which I think we're probably agreed on.
Absolutely.
We recently came across the Tone King Imperial Mark II, kind of deluxe reverby in that it's in that sort of blackface deluxe reverby, in that it's in that kind of wattage game.
Right.
And it's 6v6s.
Okay.
And it's got reverb and tremolo. Reverb and tremolo, obviously. For the first part of that, all you were hearing was the amp, and then I switched on the dualist. Dan, if you wouldn't mind playing, while Dan plays, I'm just going to, it's attenuated down, I think, either 1 or 2 notches.
Right.
What I'll do is I'll just put the attenuation up to 0, i.e. no attenuation.
Okay.
And show you that it's actually a bit of headroom as well.
Okay, yeah, cool.
If you want it.
Yeah, yeah. It's so deluxe reverb. That sponginess about it.
But
beautiful.
What a deluxe reverb reissue can't do is do all that heavier gain stuff.
Right.
Because of the built-in attenuator.
Sure.
So Dan, you didn't switch on anything,
Nothing.
did you?
Not a sausage.
We probably gave Fraser a bit of a nightmare with the levels, but I was trying to keep it at the same level. But once you go to a certain level of attenuation, that's it. It just goes crazy quiet. It does have a lead channel as well. Next.
Sovtek MIG-50. So when we had Josh Scott on the show, I had lamented to him. Oh, sorry, of course. Yeah, there we go. I had lamented to Josh that I sold my MiG-50 back in the 90s when I left Australia to go and tour around
So
Asia.
Sovtek, owned by Mike Matthews of Electro Harmonics, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, I said that I sold mine. I was very sad, and Josh said, "I'll tell you what, I've got 1 million of them. I'll send you one." And he did.
It turned up in the post.
It did. So,
It's headroomy, isn't it?
oh yeah, completely. So, like, you know, no effects, no nothing.
If that was a meal, it would be pie and mash. A
Right.
massive pie and a huge pile of mash and a fairly unforgiving gravy.
Sure.
In fact, no gravy, just chewing on the pie and the mash.
Yeah. Bit dry.
It's dry, man, and it's loud. I'm pleased to say that David Grissom's guitar is making it overdrive.
Okay.
Now we've got way too much bass and not enough treble. What's input 2?
I don't know. Have a go.
Are we all right for level there?
Yeah.
That's the sound.
It's sad, isn't it? I think so. 2 must be brighter. Yeah. Anyway, amazing amplifier, incredible pedal amp, and if you can find them, they're great value for money.
This has been modded though, hasn't it?
It's got Josh. Josh has been through it and tidied a few things
Some
up.
of Josh's nice bits.
Far out, man. Do that again.
Way too loud. That hit me right in the ear hole at that kind of ear worrying frequency.
Sure. Okay.
All right, just play for a sec, Dan, because I turned the treble up. So I just want to go just finally on this one. Input 1 and input 2, same settings.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a bright cap on input 2 or something.
Input 2. Oh, mama.
Yeah,
What a
they're
great-
really serious amp.
I don't remember it sounding that good.
Well, it is plugged into the 4x12. Everything sounds great through that cabinet. But yeah, it's killer.
Okay,
Next.
Seeing as you say everything sounds good on the 412, that's the amp that should be on there. Mm-hmm. This is a...
1987X.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
And we think it's a 2000s reissue, maybe. Might be a 90s one. Anyway, it's circuit board. It's nothing old or fancy or hand-wired or anything like that. It's just a standard run-of-the-mill 50-watt plexi reissue. And X means it has an effects loop, not that we use it that much. Viscerally loud, horrible bright cap. Sounds, watch your ears, boys, something like this.
That is glorious.
It is that unmistakable Marshall raunch. I shall turn the guitar down a little bit. Have a go, mate. I'm going to get a guitar that's a bit more familiar. That is where the love is.
That's where the love is,
you know,
baby.
You see when it's just set right on the edge like that. So the humbuckers are pushing it into quite a lot of overdrive. Single coils much less so. But the pedal and everything, pedals just the whole thing just starts to work together, and you've got the full gamut.
Awesome.
All those years, I had silver-faced twins and tube screamers. I actually think that's the sound I was chasing.
Right.
It's just... Anyway, we should move on.
Yes. Next. 100-watt Hiwatt.
Jesus boots, that's loud.
Man.
It's just forever. And that's on a greenback loaded cab. If it had the Hiwatt with the fanes, it would be...
Take your head off.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And it's kind of... It's on the edge of breakup, isn't it?
Yeah.
At this point. In fact, you won't really hear it with the Strat, but... 107 clean. I'm not going to do too much of this because it's just stupid. That's enough.
Oh,
that's
boy.
enough hearing damage for one day.
Boy.
We need to get the hum fixed.
Yeah.
And then we should use it more.
Yeah, but original from 1970.
1973, signed on the inside by Harry Joyce. Dan and I played, somebody lent us one.
Chris
from Custom Pedal Boards.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, wow, we got to have one of those. I went onto eBay and bought it the next day. And actually Reverb.com. And yeah, signed by Harry Joyce, 73, completely pucker.
And unreal.
Maintained by Charlie at Guitar Experience, Charlie Chandler, or his, their team there.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, just need to sort that hum out.
Yep.
Next, Mesa California Tweed. Slightly controversial choice for me because it sort of should be the Lone Star, given that I played the Lone Star. I've got 2 Lone Stars and played them for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fantastic amp, super versatile and everything. But this came out just recently and it's grabbed my ear purely because I feel like I've started to move into that sort of crunchier, a bit more high-end presence.
Okay.
It's either because my hearing is failing or it's because I just like a bit more grit and aggression and stuff on sounds of late.
There's a couple of things that you've recorded with this amp that I thought sounded spectacular.
Yeah, and I think the Tweed thing sort of delivers that in a way that a more blackface derived thing or a smoother sounding thing.
Sure.
Maybe it doesn't. Anyway, it does 2 watts all the way up to 40 watts. It's 4 6v6s in various combinations depending on how you have the power. And it's currently in its middle position, which, I don't know, might be 20 watts.
Okay.
I can't see. Another great thing about getting old, your eyes stop working.
Ah.
Sorry, I keep doing that all day.
No. So the video we shot before talking about having a voice. It's in that exact area of like a human voice. You know, it's all there. Sounds amazing.
Just works great with this guitar.
Yeah, it really does.
One of the challenges is it's a little bit bright in the. You need to kind of wind it up a bit.
Sure.
As you discovered in your vlog.
Yep.
Just hit it with the telly for a sec.
Lovely.
So you do have to be a bit careful. 100-watt Alnico speaker designed by Jensen, that's new. And I think when we first hit on the fuzz there, it started rasping in the way that only an Alnico speaker does.
Sure.
And that's, I think, all part of that whole deal.
Sure.
But really cool.
Lovely.
Really cool.
Yeah.
You had a range of... I knocked the wattage down and turned the master up so it was overdriving more in the amp, and then gave you more headroom again.
Yeah. Lovely.
I might say that the Lone Star is all round probably more usable for my traditional way of things.
Sure.
But there's something about that. I love the grittiness and the edge and the chewiness of it.
Yeah. And records beautifully.
Really does.
Yep. All right, next. My 1964 couple top AC30.
There she is.
There she is. Bought from Charlie Chandler's many moons ago. Yes, Charlie's Guitar Experience. Sat there and I just had a really meaningful conversation with Paul Stacey about vintage amplifiers. And he said, just go and get an old box. So I left his studio, went to Charlie's, and that was there.
And cha-ching.
It was meant to be. Do you take cash, good sir?
Spectacular.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's really nice to hear it from time to time.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe sacrilegious to say, I prefer it in that state than kind of cranked and really overdriving.
Absolutely.
Before that transformer starts going.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So this amp was used. I helped Biffy clear it out for a few days while their main tech Richard was away, and took this amp down and a number of other things. And this amp was basically a constant in the tracking because it just sounded awesome with everything. But it was cranked, crying.
It's funny, isn't it? Everyone talks about the high end in AC30s. Everyone talks about chime because of that lovely... And you're addicted to that, aren't you?
Absolutely addicted to it.
And that's what you look for in the Matchless, which we'll come on to, maybe. But what... The mid-range is just as important, isn't it, in the Vox? Because it is pretty nasal. It can be pretty nasal, especially with overdrive.
But I think that's the thing. Looking at vintage amplifiers and the way they're voiced, and whether it was the recording process and everything had to be focused, or the guitar player just wanted to stand out a bit more. I don't know what it is. But certainly in the vintage things, it wasn't about having this massive sound.
No.
It was about being really specific with the frequencies that you were amplifying. Because, more bottom end takes more energy. So there's something about...
It's magic.
It is really, really magic.
They only had transistor radios anyway, so there wasn't any bass in those days.
There you go.
There was no bass before about 1972.
Right.
So what do you need with a really trebly amp?
You need a
really trebly guitar. The Fender Jazz Master. How does it work? You know what, though? The treble is overdriving.
Yeah.
And it's rounding right off.
Yeah.
How cool.
That's a guitar sound.
Trebly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to hit it. You've got to hit it. I discovered half the way through there. It's like, no, it's no good tickling this. You've got to hit it to make it overdrive. Killer.
Awesome.
I was, little part of me was yearning for a small amount of compression.
Okay.
Which never happens.
Right.
Shall we move on? Victory V140, the Super Duchess.
My favourite Victory.
There's a lot of good amps in the Victory line.
And there is. Yeah.
This is the loudest and cleanest of them. Actually, the 100-watt Kraken might have tiny more clean headroom in the clean channel. Anyway, kind of the loudest, cleanest. 100-watt power section, reverb and tremolo built in. Built off the V40 and then the V40 Super Duchess platform, but more headroom, blah, blah, blah. So, kind of marketed and sold as a clean amp. My Strat doesn't want to be in tune.
Detail.
Yeah.
Clarity. Far out.
And that's what the 100 watts brings you over the 40. So the 40 is great, but it starts to chew up a little bit. But this gives you that eye-popping, if you want it. I'll just turn the trem off for a second. It's also got this 3-position mid-kick thing, which sounds harsh in isolation, but in a band...
Right. I want to do a fisheye on my nose with that sound.
Yeah, it's really on the nose. And when it comes into its own, just have a quick clean play a minute.
It's really special.
I couldn't hear the EQ from out here, but what I did was, in that really where there's tons of high headroom, it's eye-popping and it can be quite hard to play.
Sure.
So all I did was I started turning up the preamp gain and turning down the master, then put it into the low power mode, crank the front end and crank the master a little bit.
Right.
And actually, even though it's kind of blonde and ostensibly, I mean, you would look at that and think it's a clean amp.
Sure.
Because of the way it's styled. Actually does a pretty decent Marshall.
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear Martin in there.
Yeah.
Going, yeah, we're going to make it really clean, but I'm still going to make it filthy as well.
So
beautiful. Yeah. Magic.
A lot of love for that.
Okay.
Next.
Matchless HC-30.
It's really interesting. It's got a bit in common with the AC30.
It does have a bit in common. But you look at the schematic, you think it should sound exactly the same.
The top end is kind of in a similar place.
Yeah.
In part.
Sure.
But the amount of the way the mid-range and the bottom is vastly different. In a really good way.
I just love it.
So what have you got it on there? You got it on the EF86 channel?
EF86 channel, 15 watts.
Oh, right.
That's low powered.
Yep.
And just... Yeah.
Using the master volume?
No.
No.
That's just wide open.
White, yeah.
That's just everything.
It's really cool. The overdrive sound in it is really spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Are you using the master volume now?
No.
So that's just
the amp.
this guitar and that?
Yep. 15 watts, turned up.
do me a favour.
Yeah.
Can we put it into 30?
Yeah,
and
use
just
the master.
hear it clean a sec?
Yeah, sure.
I'm quite interested in this.
Okay.
It's still overdriving a lot.
That's that guitar. So
Okay, all right. I can remedy that.
now that's the 12. That's the EF86 channel,
Right.
which has a lot more gain. This is the 12AX7 channel.
I don't know what the dB meter is saying, but it is crazy loud. And there's a lot of bottom end there.
Yeah.
It's super lovely chimey, isn't it? It's not clean.
No,
way.
no.
It's a harmonic richness.
It's
isn't
just I've never heard an amp like it. It's so beautiful. So I mean that's not. I mean it's loud, but even at that volume, we're sort of at the level of clean headroom now.
Yes, yeah.
So it won't get any louder than that. But your dynamics within that are just crazy good.
Yeah, because even hitting the Strat at that volume, it's herring up.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
Next.
Da, 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 da,
The last one. This is my number one, my favourite amp of all time ever. No holds barred. 2-Rock Classic Reverb Signature. 100 watt. Switchable down to 50. A lot of people think the 2-Rock thing is only John Mayer. That really super massive, clean, beautiful. What is it?
I heard that in the car on the way here this morning, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
John Mayer had, actually I haven't honked John Mayer, had his own signature 2-Rock back along and likes 2-Rock amps. This isn't that so much. It can do a little bit of that, but it's more like a super reverb on steroids.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more aggressive. It does do the kind of nice clean thing, but I like it for different things.
Yep.
So anyway. So that is it kind of clean.
Right.
And that's with the gain kind of, I can't even see what it is, probably about halfway up and the master at about 10 o'clock in the 100 watt mode.
Okay.
One thing I really love about it is that you can defeat the EQ section.
Right.
Right. you remember I was saying about that thing? It's like a super reverb on steroids,
Yeah.
where the super's got the bright cap and it just does that up there. You've got to push it so that that doesn't sound grim.
Right.
So I'm just going to knock the treble back a little bit because the bright switch is on.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to push the gain a bit. Just knock that master down a touch there. And it starts to now take on a really different thing than the John Mayer thing. Sorry, been a long day. I'm struggling to get the fingers. In addition, it's got an FET booster, which is even more.
Right. Far out.
Aggressive as hell. So tame it back a little bit by putting the EQ back in. Move that gain down, put the master up a bit more headroom. It's been a minute since any of us have been allowed to play that loud,
Sure.
but
3 minutes for me.
it just does a thing.
It has all the elements of all the best amps. The sort of the harmonic quality, but there's that strident nature of the California Tweed is in there as well.
If you want it.
If you want it, you know what I mean? That yeah, but it's still tight. It's you know, there's no overpowering flubbiness, you know. Yeah, it's magic.
Oh, there's a bunch of other stuff, other switches and stuff. It will go either side of what you just heard, but I don't know. Doesn't matter what guitar I plug in. That's it.
It's incredible.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it never sounds any worse.
Wow.
Cool. That was fun.
That was awesome fun.
So honourable mentions.
Yeah. So, first up, my Lazy J20.
Yeah.
We had that in the show today, and I love that amp, and I used it for years and years. I think because we've got the California Tweed sort of lives in that area.
It's hard picking just 5.
Yeah, it really is.
If we'd done it tomorrow, probably would have been a slightly different list. Same for the same reason, the Lone Star, which I talked about earlier. The other one, 2 other things I'd like to mention. One is the Hughes and Kettner Pure Tone.
Yeah, it's cool.
There are days where I prefer that to the 50 watt Plexi.
Yep.
But the 50 watt Plexi is a Marshall, and it just makes you feel like you've got a fan in your face in a stadium playing a solo.
I feel my hair growing back when I play that amplifier.
Yeah.
It just wants to come out and sort of dance in the breeze.
That probably sounds better, but it's a Marshall. Supro Black Magic.
Yes.
If it had reverb, it would have been in today. Yep. That's the only reason. That is a cracking sounding amp. I think the Tone King just pipped it out for me today. That's what it was vying for.
Yeah.
And then we've got other stuff.
Yeah, the Hampstead as well. Is another honourable mention. Yeah, I think since we've got the Hiwatt really for me is the, you know, that lives in that similar sort of area. And, you know, it's beautiful reverb and tremolo. Yeah, I sort of, just got pipped.
Yeah, like we said, we do it tomorrow, they'll probably be different.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and share maybe if you liked it. Also, massive thank you to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe.
Anderton's Music of Guildford in Surrey.
And in Australia
would be Pedal Empire of Brisbane in Queensland.
And a massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon.
Indeed, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Also, check out the links below to Sweetwater in the US. If you click on the links, buy stuff. Dan and I, it helps us out a little bit, so helps us keep the show on the road.
Yes, and also, massive thank you to everyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed t-shirts and merch and strings and D&M drives.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
What else? Pencils? Notebooks? Did you say notebooks?
I didn't say pencils and notebooks.
Oh, yeah.
I've used mine today, actually.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I think we've sold out of fridge magnets. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.